with a Podcast.
I'm your host, Tay.
And your co-host, AK. On this episode of Breaking the Press, we will be discussing the pressure of life in sports.
Okay, I'll be reading the scriptures for y'all today. As you know, we always got to start with a prayer, so we'll start with a prayer first, and then I'm going to read the scriptures of the day. All right, here we go. God, thank you so much for bringing us here today and giving us another day to live and breathe to be more like you. As you continue to cover us and bless us as we try to create more disciples, I ask that you let our words flow, let the conversation flow, and let our words bless those who need to hear, and let it touch the hearts of those who need their hearts touched, and let it reach the ears of those who it needs to reach. I thank you for today. We ask you all these things in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Thank you, God, and amen.
Amen.
All right. So, scriptures today, I'll be reading from 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7 through 9. We now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed. And that's from the New Living Testament version. So that being said, you know, we talking about the pressures of life. And the first question that we have today, and AK will be answering first. So, what moment in your life did you feel the most pressure or under pressure?
I would say I had to do a lot of, obviously when we ask these questions, we go over these questions, I have to do a lot of reflecting, backtracking on what was a moment that really brought a lot of pressure to my life. And I would say, I think it was when I was 16, I just tore my ACL for the first time. I say that because before that happened, I was kind of cruising through life. Nothing bad had never happened to that point. Everything that happened negatively was a natural. My grandmother died, that's a natural emotion. My grandfather died, that's a natural emotion. Nothing off the wall, shocker. And I say to this day, I was very blessed that I had no traumatic incidents until that point. So that moment when I did tear my ACL, tearing your ACL, that's something you hear other people do. Yeah. Oh, someone tore the ACL. So that's something you feel bad for somebody else. So I remember the moment I tore, I didn't even know I tore it. And I just thought I had knee problems. My knee just hurt. We got states next week, my birthday next week. I was going to prom next week. I had a whole plan for next week. And I was just, as an athlete, when you start to walk in your prime, I started feeling myself. I was losing weight. My body was looking right. I was feeling good. I was on my high horse. I think I came off of a 20-point game. And it took me, I think, a couple of days to get diagnosed. And I say that was the most pressure because in that moment, when that doctor came back in and told me that I tore my ACL and you were done for the summer, I felt like I couldn't breathe. It took my whole breath. I just cried. I didn't hear nothing else. The doctor said, I heard nothing else. My mom said, I heard nothing else. After that incident, it truly broke me. And looking back at it, I didn't realize how much it broke me until I had to reflect on this question. Because it basically made a lot of things it made me open my eyes because I didn't have basketball to fall back on. I didn't have basketball to handle my other stress I would go through. If I failed a test, hey, I got practice tomorrow. I can't worry about this failed test. If I broke up with my boyfriend, I got practice tomorrow. I remember the day my grandmother passed away. We had a game that day. I still played in the game. I never in my life sat with my feelings ever. So when I tore my ACL, I'm not oblivious. I know how long that recovery takes. I know it's going to be a few months. Yeah. So I remember my life just started crumbling after that. All my friendships went left. People around me started acting different. People were responding to me differently. People even looked at me differently. And I didn't know how to handle that because people had always seen me as AK the athlete, AK the basketball player. So when people looked at me and seen that was taken from me, it was almost like they looked at me with pity. Like, I feel so bad for you. And as a person, you don't want to be looked at like that.
I
don't want to
be.
I don't want to be no pity party. I don't want you to be talking to me and giving me stuff.
Me.
Like, my birthday, the whole school sung me happy birthday. People gave me gifts, and I was very appreciative. But also, it's like it took me to have to tear my knee to
get some love.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a weird emotion to feel because I was grateful for it because I felt seen, I felt comforted. But it made me realize how much of my identity was basketball. So I didn't handle that well. I lost myself. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to talk to people about it because who had gone through that? You know, my teammate, Jazz Smith, she had tore her ACL. So I seen the pain I was going to have to go through. Because I remember after I got surgery, I looked at my leg and I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to walk again, let alone play basketball. I was defeated. I was distraught. And I say it's pressure because the pressure wasn't tearing my ACL. That wasn't the pressure. That's a natural cause. The pressure was coming back, dealing with it, coming back. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to come back better. And I'm in my head like, y'all don't understand. I can't walk.
But it's just like what we say in the title, breaking the press.
Yes.
So when you in the press, right? When you getting pressured, if you play basketball or if you play any other sport, because pressure is the same in any sport. In basketball, full court pressure is different, right? So you're getting pressured by a team, right? And most of the time when people press, the scariest part be the trap, right? So when you're under pressure,
anticipation of the trap.
Yes, it's the anticipation. It's you trying to already beat the press before the press happens, right? You already calculating it in your mind, right? So when that trap comes, in your mind, you're telling yourself like, all right, I need to find the next person that's open. Or, okay, I need to dribble out of this. Or, I need to find an opening to get through this or make a pass for this. And you have to think fast, right? When it first happens, when it's when you're unaware of it, because sometimes teams, like when you watch film, right, you prepare for the team. And you will prepare for all the defenses they have and they throw the pressure at you and you won't be ready for it. So in those first couple moments, you get pressed, right? And you're not ready. So you turn the ball over, your teammate's not in the right spot, you done dribbled off your foot, you done dribbled off their foot, you trying to drive baseline and went out of bounds. You getting frustrated, you done turned the ball over, they done got layups, right? And the pressure is just building and building and building, right? And you trying to figure out the coach trying to figure it out, y'all trying to figure out, what do we need to do to break this press, right? And most of the time in practice, you work on the press break, but the pressure is different when it's there. Just like you said, I've seen it happen. I've saw somebody tear their ACL. I've been close to it, but I haven't experienced it. So the pressure is different, right?
Especially unexpected.
Yeah,
it's like preparing for a team that plays 2-3, but they full court pressure the whole game.
Yeah,
like
we prepared for 2-3, we didn't prepare for the full court press. Right?
Like the hard I was preparing for was going to USA trials again, being player of the year, having a unstoppable junior year. The pressures that I was preparing for was like, I can handle that. Like, I'm about to get better. This pressure, I couldn't play my last year at AAU, and then it was like, I'm a caring person, and the look on the people's faces around me that cared for me broke me the most because I always knew whatever I go through, I can handle that. So like a press break, I was never worried about me. I might be caught off guard, but once I figure out how to break it, I'm cool. My concern was my teammates. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't pick it up like I do. Even my best friend Bree, and we used to talk about it all the time. Our skill level was so different. It was so unique in our own ways, but it was certain skills that I had that she didn't have. And one of the skills was I picked up on stuff quicker. She was a great player, but mentally I just picked up on stuff at a quicker speed. So when I seen like her look at me with like, oh my God, like, AK, what are you gonna do? It made me sad for her because like, now, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm not with you. You know what I'm saying? Like my teammates, they didn't bring up the ball in the press. It was me. So when they looked at me and said I was down, I said, how are they gonna handle that? So I'm more concerned about how my people around me gonna function than me functioning.
And then it put more pressure.
It put more because I can't do nothing. I can't, and that's the first time in my life I ever felt like you can't help them. You can't help. I couldn't even get up to make myself a sandwich at the time. So the pressure of me still wanting to do it all and I couldn't was unbearable. It was too much. So I would say that is the first moments of my life that I felt pressure.
Yeah.
And I thank God I got through it. But if I can go back and give myself a hug and tell her to take a breath, relax, focus on you, I would definitely do that.
So that was your trap, basically. So for me, I felt most under pressure in my life and just with sports around the time I was going into my freshman year of high school. So I had a situation happen where this is something that's tough for me to even talk about still to this day, but you know, God was healing me and working on me, and you know, He's put forgiveness in my heart. So I'm in a different space in my life, so I'm a little more comfortable talking about it. But so my freshman year in high school, I want to say it was September. So you know, school had basically like just started. So I had been going through like so much. So from the age of 11 until I was 14, I was molested by my biological father, and it was so much going on. I seen some stuff that was just happening on the internet where people was like, nobody ever gonna touch me without me telling, and all this other stuff. But what people don't understand is when you're young and when you're naive and when you're gullible, and people take advantage of you, especially people who are supposed to love you and care for you, it's a different type of feeling. You don't really understand, and you're trying to navigate through your emotions because you're scared for yourself, but you're also scared for the other person. You don't know how to tell, how to come out, what you're supposed to say. And for me, my father and my mom was married. Like, they have been married for, I want to say, on and off, like 16 years. And he was all I knew. He was like my best friend, for real. And so when it first started happening, I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on. And it went on for a long period of time. And going into my freshman year, my mom and dad had like split up a little bit. They wasn't divorced, but they had like split up when they separated for a little bit, because my dad, you know, he struggled with like drugs growing up. He had a rough life growing up too, and I'm sympathetic and empathetic to that. Understanding that people do what they learn. They learn behaviors. They, you know, have traumas that they don't heal from. And my dad had a rough life himself, and it led him ultimately to do hard drugs that, you know, he couldn't really recover from. So my mom dealt with it for a while, and then she started to get frustrated. So they split up for a period of time, but we still had to go. My dad's from Detroit, so he moved back to Detroit with his sisters and his brothers or whatever. He lived with my aunt down for a while, and when they separated, he moved back there, and we still had to go see him every weekend, of course, because this is what we know, like this is what we used to. So the weekends I would go, I would still be getting molested. Like, I was still going through those things, and it came to a point where I wanted to take my own life. Like, I was really devastated with life. I was frustrated. I was confused. I didn't understand why somebody who was supposed to love me was hurting me or harming me, or what was so wrong with him. What was wrong with me? Why wasn't I saying no? Why wasn't I putting a stop to it? I really didn't understand it. And school had started, so the weekends, like, we kind of stopped going so much on the weekends. And man, it was one night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I was having nightmares. I kept waking up out my sleep and jumping up out my sleep. And I just felt like God was telling me, like, you got to get this off of you. Like, you got to say something. And so I didn't sleep. I was up all night. The next morning, I got up and I got ready for school. And my mom was in the room asleep. And something just told me, like, just tell her now. And I'm already dressed. Like, I'm about to get picked up. I already knew, like, once I tell her, I'm going to have to leave. So I won't have to deal with whatever emotion came with it, right? I could go distract myself. So I woke my mom up. I'm tapping her. I'm like, Mom, wake up. I got to tell you something. And thank God for my mom. I'm sorry. I'm just thankful for her. But I'm like, wake up. I got to tell you something. I was so nervous and afraid because I didn't know if she would believe me. I didn't know what would come after that. It was a lot of things going through my mind, but I knew I had to say something, like, because it was just getting worse and worse for me. So I ended up waking her up and just telling her, like, Mom, I got to tell you something. She's like, what is it? And she thought it was something else, right? So we kind of laughed about it, but I was like, no, it's serious. Like, you gotta wake up. Like, I gotta tell you. And she was like, what is it? So I'm like, my dad had been touching me for a long time, and I just wanted to stop. Like, and she didn't really say anything to me. She just bust out in tears, and she embraced me. She hugged me, and we hugged for a while. She cried for a while, and I cried with her. And then my ride pulled up, and we let each other go. And the last thing she said to me was, "I believe you." Like, and it gave me peace, right? But with me lifting that heavy weight off of me, it also felt like another weight got put on me, because I'm thinking I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna be distracted and I'm not gonna have to worry about nothing or think about nothing. But the whole time I was thinking about that. That's all I was thinking about. I couldn't think. I couldn't learn. I wasn't talking to nobody. I think it was the worst practice I probably ever had.
Understandably.
And I was just like, I was hurt. I was hurting. Just thinking like about what was to come. And I remember her telling me basically like, I'm gonna have to tell your siblings, the ones who can understand, of course, because I ain't younger siblings, but she like, I'm gonna have to tell your siblings. And to me, it was like I understood her end, because she just wanted to make sure nothing was happening with them. But to me, it was like I didn't want them to know, because I was already feeling disgusted. I was already feeling defeated. I felt broken already. I felt like it was gonna be my fault. Whatever happened afterwards was gonna be on me. I just broke my family up. I just broke my mom's heart, like, and it really weighed on me. It was so heavy. It was so emotional for me. And she ended up, telling a few of my other family members, and everybody was just all like, it's gonna be okay. And that feeling of, like you said, like everybody want to feel bad for you, but I felt bad for everybody else. Like, I felt bad for my mom. Like, that made my mom went into a deep depression for 2 years. Like, the house wasn't the same. The way we functioned in the house wasn't the same. It was so. It was just different. You could just feel like, looking at my mom, I could just see the light leave her. Like, and my mom has always been connected to God, and I've never seen her so disconnected from everything and everybody. And after a while, she put me in therapy. My mom took the proper precautions, and I just didn't want to talk. So I was in therapy, and I just wouldn't talk. I would just always say, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good." And I just didn't want people to worry about me. I went through it so long, for some reason, I just felt like I'm going to be able to get through this. It's not going to stop me from nothing. But it literally took a toll on everything else in my life. Like, the only calmness and peace that I had was basketball. So that's why I fell in love with basketball at the time I did, because it was all I had. I ended up having to leave. Like, I didn't have to leave, but I ended up leaving to go live with my best friend and her family. Because my mom was so disconnected, and I felt like a burden to her, so I left and I went to be and lived there. I lived there for my junior year, like some of my senior year. But like, of course, I was back and forth home. I was talking to my mom every day. She was checking on me. It wasn't like she just gave me away, but like, I just felt like that would help her, not having to see me every day and feel like she failed, because.
So you thought leaving would help her?
I did.
So nothing about you.
Nothing about me.
I
wasn't thinking about me.
Because you knew you would be fine.
I just felt like I was gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, I started to feel less and less confident in myself. I didn't love myself. I really tried to mask my brokenness by accomplishing stuff. So I made the honor roll principal list every single semester. I started getting better at basketball. I spent every waking moment in the gym and with my teammates, just to pull away from what I was going through. And it started to show. I started to break piece by piece. Like, I was broken.
And it was probably like the more you were achieving, the more broken you felt.
I did. And like, the other part was, I was achieving all those things and I didn't feel like I had people to celebrate with. Like, my mom would be happy, but everybody around me would always just say, "Oh, I knew you was gonna do that." Like, it didn't feel like a big accomplishment, because everybody always felt like I was well put together. I was doing fine. Oh, she's so beautiful. She played basketball. She's smart. She this. And I didn't want to take that away from what people saw. I didn't want to take away from what people saw. I wanted to be that perfect person, right? And it became hard. It started to be too heavy for me. And I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was scared to love people. I was scared for people to love me. I always worried about people's intentions. And it took me away from the person I was closest to, my dad. My dad was the first person to put a rim up for me when I told him I loved basketball. We sat and watched football together every Sunday. He taught me words out of the dictionary every single day, how to use them, how to spell them. He was one of the smartest men that I knew, but he had his own demons he was fighting that he clearly wasn't winning with, and initially it just broke. It broke our family, man. And I'm still recovering. I'm still healing, and I thank God for.
Take your time.
I just don't.
Long day. She's like I said. She's had a long day, and we gonna do this over. Cause let me tell you something. Our camera cut out, right?
Yeah.
Right in the middle of her telling her emotional story. Like, and God, the devil just try to get you sometimes. In the middle of telling her story, camera went out. But while it went out, I was trying to say, like, this is one of the most strongest people I've ever met in my life, because I gave her the option, basically, like, had a conversation, like, if you don't want to shoot today, I understand, because I don't know if you want to tell them about today.
Yeah. Today is the day my brother passed away, so.
Yeah, she's been emotional, just, I wouldn't say a wreck, because you ain't never no wreck, but I feel like you're an emotional wreck right now. She don't look like it, but she's an emotional wreck. She's going off zero energy, nothing. We spent the whole day together, just being there for each other, talking, discussing, and just knowing that she's having this heavy burden today, and for her to still want to come here and speak on what she's gone through, because we knew that the topic was going to be heavy with this conversation anyway. So to do that topic on this day, and for her to choose to do that, it just goes to show how strong she is, and the fact that I've literally watched her all day be on zero, but still thrive and still show up for people. So I just want to give you credit that God is working in you and working through you, because a lot of people, what you went through would have broke them. And I tell you that all the time. It would have broke me. It would have broke me. So for you to still be thriving and to not look at all what you've been through is a testimony to how great God is. So I just want to give you your props. Hopefully I've reversed the tears. I'll put them back in there. But this is a strong lady right here, y'all. She's strong.
But that was probably the most pressure for me. It wasn't even holding on to it. It was telling it. That was harder for me. And all the stuff that followed up with it. And I encourage anybody who's dealt with any type of abuse, whether it's sexual, mental, emotional, physical, don't be ashamed or afraid to tell your story, and never feel too broken to go to God to fulfill those voids and those the darkness you feel. He'll give you light, and there's a purpose in your pain. Just don't forget that. So that's probably my trap. That was my trap. That's where it all started. That's where life started to get, like, it was already dark, but it got darker. I felt like the cloud was over me, like just sitting over my head. And that's when I was telling you, like I said, it came to a point I felt like God wasn't there for me. Like, why did you give me this life? Why did you give me this family? Why did you put me here? Like, what was your point? Why do I have to go through all this? I'm a good kid. I do what I'm supposed to do. I listen to my parents. I'm obedient. I do what I'm supposed to. I respect my coaches. I go to school every day. I do good at school. I do good on basketball. I work hard. What is it? And that pressure built up to the point where I was boiling inside. Like, I was ready to explode. And like I said, I wanted to take my own life. I was ready to get up out of here. So that's what I would say was my pressure and my trap. So yeah.
But you got out of it.
God brought me out.
God
got me through.
You called a timeout when you were timeout on the play.
I'm thankful.
You brought you out. I'm thankful as well, because if he was gone, what was he gonna do?
Really?
How was he gonna make more disciples? Like, that don't make sense.
Listen.
So leading up, I need you to take a breath real quick though, because that was a lot. That was heavy. I need you to release that.
It was.
All right. So we're gonna go into question number 2. Do you want to answer this question, or do you? right now, or you want me to go when you go?
You go ahead, because
you asked me the question.
I can't, for one, y'all. It took that story is something I only have shared with those who are close to me, my therapist and my life coach. You know, those who had to help raise me or make me better. Those are the only people I shared this with, and I always told the people closest to me, one day I'll tell that story, and I hope that it helps others. So that was just heavy for me. That was emotional, and I can tell that I'm healing because usually every time I tell that I cry, which I was just into, but but God just gave me strength.
We laugh to get through our pain.
We laugh through our pain. So yeah, I would rather you go ahead and take off to the next question.
Yeah,
so
go ahead and ask me the question. Get yourself together.
The next question is, how did you handle that pressure before giving your life to God?
Like I said, we kind of answered that within the question of number one. I think that's why we're such good students, probably because we've seen the leading up question, but didn't handle it well. I would say, let me take that back, because I have to give myself more credit. I think I handled it well at the time that I knew best. Yeah, if that makes sense. I didn't know God that much to handle it well. The me of today would say, oh, you didn't handle that well, but the 16-year-old AK that didn't have a connection with God, didn't have a conversation with God, I think I handled it as well as I could, because I was still a good person. Most people, bad stuff happens to them and they choose to be miserable, or they choose to be disrespectful and sulk in it. But even though I couldn't walk, I was still the joy when I walked into the room. I still had my bright smile. I still cracked jokes. I still, made the next person laugh. I still was a coach on the floor. Yeah. And how my mentality is okay, I can't contribute in this way, so I have to find a different way. Right. So I'm used to being on the floor, and being on the floor, and your coach tells you hey, you ain't see that press coming, you ain't handle that well. You're like, no, what are you talking about? Because you're in the moment. You're going, you're in game speed. Right. But when you're on the bench and you're taking a bat, you can see
you can see the openings. You can
see
where the passes can come from. You see where the trap coming from.
I see where the trap coming from. Because one thing I always used to get caught with is getting caught in a trap going over half court. That was a big problem for me, because once you're in an over half court and they trap you, stuck. Yeah. So that was I wasn't aware of and I would get so frustrated and mad. I would try to dribble through it. Yeah. And I thought on the court, if I see an opening, I'm like, I can get through that. And I was trying to go and press it. And I'm like, because even getting hurt, I got hurt because I was trying to press to the basket. I was trying to score when it wasn't even a necessary move I had to do. I just tried to get there as quick as possible. So being on the bench and seeing my teammates do it, I'm like, that's not open. So I'm getting frustrated. So I'm like, what are you doing? So my dad basically had a conversation. We were talking, and he was like, you see the game from the bench? You see what I see? And I'm just like, I see why I was getting cussed out every day, because if I was doing what they doing,
I would be cussing myself out.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say in the moment, mentally, I probably didn't handle it the best. At getting through it, but on the outside, I was still giving my energy to people. I was still trying to be there for people. I was still coaching. I was still finding a way to make a difference. I was still finding a way to make myself better, because now it gave me kind of a bit of a confidence, because I was like, okay, I was already good on the court. So now I'm learning the game. Yeah. I knew the game
was growing.
My IQ was going. I know how to scout. Yeah. Before, I didn't really take scouts seriously. Shaky. I'm a guard them. I don't care. But now I'm wasting so much energy guarding them when I can just know the play. Yeah. And beat them to the spot. Yeah. I can know the move, and they ain't got to do it. I ain't got to get back on defense.
I know you can only go left. I'm sending you.
What I'm saying?
I know you can't shoot. I'm taking a step back. And I know all you want to do is go to the basket, so I'm gonna let you go ahead.
And I'm yelling that on the side. How often do you go to a basketball game and you see someone on the sidelines don't let her go left? Yeah. How often do you hear stuff like that?
It's very
watch the trap.
It's most of the time it's coaches. It's not everything.
Oh, watch the screen. Call the screen. So I'm overly communicating. I have to use my voice, and using my voice allowed me to distract myself when I was going through, because in order for me to feel better, I have to make someone else feel better. That was my mentality for a long part of my life. It gave me purpose to know, even in my deepest, darkest moments, I can still give. People understand, one of my biggest goals was to be the nicest person you've ever met in your life. Yeah. I've had that goal since I was a kid.
So you can be memorable.
And it wasn't
even, don't forget people like that.
And it wasn't even to be memorable at that time. I just wanted to show you how nice I can be. Like
Yeah.
some people are in competition. I got the best shoes. I got the best hair. I want to show you I can be nicer to you. So when I meet you, I'm nicer to you.
Yeah.
I've given more. Like my track record of changing people's lives probably tops most of this generation. Because I always wanted to make sure like people felt loved, and that's why meeting you is so not. I keep saying meeting you, reconnecting with you
Right.
has given so much to my life.
You did
because-
make me this version of me.
You know what I'm saying? Me too. So
Yeah.
I enjoy hearing what you went through, and I don't know how you would take that, but I enjoy hearing the darkness that God brought you out of, because it gives pride in my heart knowing that you were going through all of that, and I was still a good person to you.
Yeah.
Because easily I could have sulked in my own
Yeah.
BS I was going through and been a
A
butthole.
a-hole.
Yeah. But the fact that like even us reconnecting and you tell me like you never had a problem with me because I was always so nice.
Yeah.
That satisfies that
Yeah.
16-year-old me that was struggling, not knowing what I was giving back. So
Right.
for you to say like you were always nice, like you were always kind, you were never in drama, you were always a good person,
Yeah.
that heals a part of me that was so broken at that time, because I didn't know I was giving that to people. So kindness is real, and you never know what a small act of kindness can do for someone that's going through stuff. You know what I mean?
So
I
you
think,
handled the pressure by basically still finding light
yes,
in your darkness and
Yes.
being a light to other people, so that they wouldn't see the darkness
yes.
that was inside
Faking
you.
it.
Yeah. So
You
you
gotta fake it
masking
till you make it sometimes.
Yeah, but it also that's truly who you are.
Exactly.
Because that's still who you are. You still bring light to every room you enter. You still
Because to be
joy
positive,
yourself.
but I can't put my sock on, you can't fake that. I'm over here laughing at myself like I can't put my sock on. Like, you can't fake that for
Yeah.
6, 7 months.
Yeah.
No, you ain't got it.
So that was your pressure, and you broke the trap. Right now you at half court.
Mm-hmm.
Now you trying to get through.
I gotta score.
Now you gotta figure that out,
Yeah.
right? So, for me, like I said, I handle my pressure by achieving goals,
Yes, ma'am.
by making sure like I'm the best of the best at everything that I do. I make sure that I don't get in trouble. By making sure I don't draw attention to myself in a wrong way, right? And like you said, just being kind to people, being the light in the room. So just growing up, people always complimented me on my smile. Everybody always felt like I was nice. And at a point, you know, people would take advantage of it. Like when I went through that, like I said, things started getting dark. My friendships kind of people would like take advantage of me. And I didn't understand it back then, but like I was being very much taken advantage of. People was treating me wrong. I didn't do anything about it. I kind of just always wanted to be the person who kind of just kept going past them. Like for me, like I got through most of my life without God by cruising, by just pretending stuff is not happening, by keeping going. And it's like,
You're in
seeing-
survival mode, though.
yes, and seeing all the things that I went through and seeing what my mom and dad went through and all the stuff that we had to face and grow up with, I wanted better for myself.
Mhm.
So no matter what I was going through at home, no matter what I was going through mentally or emotionally, I knew I had to push through. I had to achieve my goals. And I didn't handle that pressure inside well, but on the outside, I did what needed to be done. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I handled business in school. I handled business at home. I handled business on a basketball court to the best of my ability. I was a good friend. I
You
was a
did the
good
best you
person.
can
I
each
did
day.
the best I can with what I had.
Mhm.
And man, doing it without God was so hard,
You do it on your own.
so heavy. Like it was a lot, bro. And I did, like I said, I did the best I can with what I had. But that's what I'll say. I don't think I handled it the best, but I did what I could with what I had.
And I also want to say, like, a lot of people's coming to God stories are very different.
Yeah.
There's some people that were bad people and God had to tell them to stop. It was
Yeah.
some people that were sinners every day. He had to tell them, and he had to tell them to stop. When I think about like me and you and how we came to God and how we weren't bad people, we
Yeah.
just did
Bad.
bad things, and it's for seasons.
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, like, because when we read the Bible, it's certain stuff God tells us to do, and I'm like, I've been doing that since I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
forgive your neighbor. I've been doing that since.
Oh yeah.
I've always done that. You know what I'm saying? So when most people read what God tells them to do, it's like, oh, I have to change how I act towards people. With me and you, I feel like it makes how we are make sense.
Yeah.
So you feel like you told me earlier, you feel like a black sheep. I felt the same way because people didn't think like me.
Yeah.
I used to be like, how come I'm the only one that thinks like me?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard for you to forgive people? Like, I get they did you wrong, but like,
so angry?
Why are you so angry? I'm going through my deepest dark, and you really are your eyes are open to how mean people are when you're going through stuff. So I used to go to like Kroger and like the cashier would be rude. And I'm like you don't even know what
like, this could be the breaking point.
This could be, and it was a day where I was really struggling with something, and this cashier was so mean to me, and I said, this could be the day I kill myself, literally. And I said that out loud, like this could be the day I literally die. And this is how you acting. So it makes you more aware. So I just think that us getting closer to God, it gives us, me personally, it gives me a relief of like, this is why I act like this. Because I used to pray to God, like, change me. Make me like, I don't like being like this. I don't like being so forgiving. I don't like being so nice. People used to do me so. I hated it. People have done me so dirtball in my life. So like they've treated me like the scum at the bottom of their shoe, and I still gave them grace. I don't even have it in my heart to hold anger. Literally. My heart can't hold anger. I can't react in anger. I can't. So if you get me to react in anger, you've really done something.
And literally, I can relate to you on that. Like praying to God, like help me stop being so nice.
Yes, I'm getting taken advantage of.
Anything to me, like I get taken advantage of. I got taken advantage of at home, and I get taken advantage of at school. I get taken advantage of on the court.
Relationships, with
friendships. Like when is it going to end?
Stop.
Why can't I just stand up for myself? Why can't I just be mean? Why can't I just say no? Like,
and the bad thing about it is every time we try to match that energy, it would be worse for us.
Yes.
Like if you did me wrong and I did something worse to you, my karma was worse.
Yeah,
I'm like, I said, but God, how come? I literally yelled at God one day, like, how come it's okay for them to do it to me?
When I do it,
but when I do it to them, it's
cool
when
they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
And that was a problem I've always had. Like, how come I can't? But that was God telling me, like, you're not like that.
Yeah,
you're not like that.
And the thing about it is, like, I've always been so forgiving.
Yes. Almost too forgiving.
Too forgiving, right? But also, like, I understood that God's purpose for me was different. So I had to endure those things, and my heart couldn't change.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like when God give you something, He don't want your heart to change. He don't want you to stray for Him just because you got something you asked for, or you in position now, and now He don't matter. So it's like, I feel like in the midst of all of my troubles, in the midst of all of my darkness, God was keeping me close and near to Him. He didn't want me to stray so far to the point where I couldn't get back to Him. And I feel like if I would have let all of the things I went through, because that's just a piece. Like, I had so many seasons of my life where it was different darknesses. You know what I'm saying? It was just so different. But I feel like He used all of that to mold me into who I am. So I didn't be the evil person. So I wouldn't be a person who would hurt people or take advantage of them. Like, it's not even in me. And the thing about it is, I'm so thankful that He gave me the heart I have. I used to hate it. I used to hate it. Now I'm thankful because I know I don't just randomly hurt people. And if I do, I don't mind asking for forgiveness.
It's not intentional.
It's not intentional. And I don't mind saying, I apologize. I will never hurt you again. Like, I'm thankful that He helps me see the goodness in people. I'm thankful that He lets me be the light in the room. Like, I don't want to be what everybody else was to me. I'm thankful that I got to experience it, so I'm not that person. Right? So, yeah, that was our pressure, and the way we handled it without Him, I think that though we wasn't connected to Him the way we are now, He was still working things together for our good. So, yeah, I think that we handled it the best we could with what we had, because we didn't have Him the way we do now. So, yeah, it's different.
I got you for question 3. Kind of go back to back. Okay. How do you handle that same pressure now that you're walking in faith?
So, before, handling the pressure without God was like getting those turnovers over and over again during the press. They pressing you, they trapping you. You done got a turnover after turnover after turnover. Your coach ready to sit you down at this point. Like, you need to sit, right? In that moment when you come out and sit, that's when it feels like the pressure. I'm starting to handle the pressure with God now, because like you said, you see it from a bird's eye view. You seeing everything that was pressuring you, that was trapping you, and now you're getting a different view of it, right?
And I got the tools to get through it.
Yes, you got the tools now because I've experienced the pressure. I've experienced the trap.
But the pressure didn't stop.
And it didn't stop.
It didn't stop.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Right? But now I'm getting the coach's eye view. Now I'm seeing what God sees, right? So the pressure that I felt, and I still feel this pressure, right? But now when I have pressure in my life or in my coaching now, because I coach basketball now, when I have pressure, I stop. I be still, right? And I don't worry anymore. I don't complain anymore, and I don't mask it anymore. Because I have God, and like having Him, I have no worries. I know that God is going to take care of me no matter what's going on around me, no matter how bad that pressure may be.
He's gotten you out of your worst season.
Literally.
So,
and it's like every time I feel pressured, I think about all the things He already brought me through. And it's like, if He already brought you through that, what makes you think He won't bring you through this? And I feel like, I know I will have more pressure. I know more things will come. But I also know, I don't think it could get any worse. Like, I don't think things could get any worse for me. I've already went through the worst. And we have a God that tells us, don't worry about anything, but pray about everything. And knowing that I have that type of God, knowing that I can come to Him about anything, and I don't have to worry about it, I can come to Him about it, right? So now when I feel pressure, I don't worry. I go straight to God. And that pressure that I felt from the situation with my dad, it took me a long time to start healing from that. And me getting closer to God is what started to help me heal. Now, my relationship with God didn't start being consistent until, like we said, like 2 years ago. But I started my relationship with God about 5, right? But it was just so inconsistent, so up and down, right? But when I started it, it started with me, I need to forgive Him. And outside of forgiving Him, I needed to forgive myself. I held on to resentment towards myself longer than I held on towards Him. Because little do people know, I now have a relationship with my dad. I talk to my dad. We're fine, right? I've forgiven him. And I tell him, and every time those emotions come back, I forgive him again. When I start to feel that pain and that anger towards him, that resentment towards him, I keep forgiving him. Because forgiveness is a constant thing. It's not something you do one time and the feelings go away. You have to constantly forgive people when they've hurt you. So I forgave him. I've sat with him, right? 9 years later, after I told my mom, after not seeing him, not talking to him, not knowing if he was dead or alive, we ended up getting contact again. And 9 years later, I sat with him. And he basically told me, like, I was so drugged out and so messed up. I can't even remember half of the things I've done to you.
And I feel like
I do know I've done it.
I feel like that is so hard to hear for people because, like we were talking about earlier,
you're able to forget it, but I'm not.
And it's the fact that, like you said earlier, you've moved on with your life.
Yeah.
So you holding on to that resentment, that anger, that frustration for all those years, it's like, so I had to carry this burden, not you.
Yeah.
So all those years of you not forgiving people, it's not them that is hurt by that. It's you. You're hurting yourself by not forgiving people.
And I hate it myself.
It's so much easier said than done. And I tell people that all the time. Like, forgiving someone for that act is I can't even speak on that because I've never known that pain.
Yeah.
But I know God. I know His Word. And I know God said if you have to forgive people, because if you could not forgive them, how am I going to forgive you when you look at the cross for me? You know what I'm saying? So that, I feel like that was God telling you, you see why you got to forgive? Because He don't even remember the hurt He put you through. And you're dwelling on it.
I was carrying it.
And you're carrying alone. Not even with me.
Yeah.
Not even with God. You're not even carrying it with someone. You're carrying it alone.
Yeah.
So that's deep.
That's deep. And the thing about it was, like, I hated myself for allowing it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was like, I felt bad for myself. Like, because I couldn't control that.
Right.
Like, I wasn't in his mind. I wasn't in his brain. I don't know what he was going through. But also forgiving him, I had to give him grace.
Yeah.
Because I know that something had to happen to him in order for him to even be at the point where he was so dark and so
that takes
away
a
from
very
God
loving person
that
to
he
think that way.
And he tells me to this day, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful that God made you how you are. I'm so thankful that you can forgive me. You're so mature. You have the best heart I've ever experienced. And my thing is, I had to forgive you in order to forgive myself. because I felt like it was my fault that you were the way you were because I didn't say no. I feel like it was my fault that you and my mom split up because I didn't tell her what was going on. I feel like it was my fault that my mom was depressed because she felt like she failed me when it was me who failed her, who didn't tell her, who didn't fess up and let her know, like, this is what's going on, you know? And I held on to that so much that I hated myself. I didn't feel like, even when good things would happen to me, I didn't feel I deserved it, right? Even though I wanted it so bad,
And you worked
I didn't
for it.
feel like I deserved it. And so forgiving him, I was able to forgive myself. And I've been healing ever since. And I'm so thankful to God, right, that I have him through the pressure now. Because now I can break that press. Not only can I break that press, I got wide open layup, right? I'm throwing the right passes.
And you
I'm
got
finishing
teammates.
layups. I got teammates, right? I got my whole faith friends group. I got friends outside the group that are help me hold up. My mom is back in her relationship with God, and she's even deeper with him than before. You know, my siblings are growing in God, and I'm so thankful. My dad is growing. He's doing better. He's sober. Been sober for a year and a half now, and I'm thankful. So yeah, that was my pressure, and handling the pressure without God was tough. Handling it with him, it still is tough, but I also don't feel worried. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel frustrated because I know everything is working together for my good, and I don't have to worry about anything, but I have to pray about everything.
Absolutely.
So how do you handle it now that you have him?
I ain't gonna lie. You about took everything I had. I ain't even. But that's how you know God is so intentional and God's word is law, because we both came to the same conclusion in different parts of our lives. Like we didn't come to this conclusion when we met each other. We had already established this. That's what helped us find each other. So when people ask, like, how did you get through all that? God, like that's the only. That's the only way.
Explanation.
It's the only explanation, because obviously I tried to do it myself my whole life, and that led to suicidal thoughts. That led to a pill bottle in my hand at the age of 20, at the age of 19, like in my dorm room. Like, I can't do this. I'm 19. I would tell a 19-year-old, you have so much life to live. Yeah. You're not even, because at that point,
it's nowhere near what, like,
it's
life hasn't even started for you.
But by that point, I had gone through so much, and people had still see me as like this perfect individual, and I'm like, I am suffering.
Dying inside.
I can't function. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't do my work. People don't know, I failed 2 classes in Michigan. I almost got kicked out of Michigan for failing. People don't even know that, because they seen me and they seen this person that had it all together. And I was broken. And I was so broken that I was like, I can't do this no more. And in that moment, God saved me. Like, he literally did. So the same thing you're saying with, like, keep your hand, like, you know God is there. So it's no worry. Like I said, the everyday life and struggle of my life has not changed. It's pretty much the same, if not worse. Right. But the difference, like you said, now is I don't worry about it. I don't spend all day like, when am I gonna get a new job? When am I gonna get more money? I know he's gonna handle it. And even if he doesn't change my circumstances, which I've begged on my knees and screamed of him to change in my life, he changes me. So I learn to be grateful for stuff. Do I necessarily like waking up and going to work every day? No. People die in their sin. People are in hell right now. I'm grateful that I'm not. And I'm grateful I don't have people around me that I know are going there. I'm grateful that I can walk. At a point in time, I couldn't walk. Two seasons of my life, I could not walk. I'm grateful to be able to walk. I broke my hand. I couldn't tie my hair in a ponytail for 2 months. I'm grateful that I can put my hair in a ponytail. Small things. I couldn't get up and take a shower for myself. I can get up and shower, because there's people that are disabled like that for life, and they need assistance for life. I can drive myself. I can afford a meal. I can help people out. I'm a good person. I'm a beautiful person. I have nice hair. I have a nice body. I'm able to go to the gym. I don't have a broken foot that's never healed. I don't have an amputated leg. You learn to be grateful for things. I have friends around me. I have parents around me. Both my parents are alive. They're alive and together. Thankful. My brother is alive. How many people have a brother that's deceased?
Me. I have one. So
grateful.
So you gotta be grateful for the things that you kind of take for granted every day. Like
Like hearing the birds chirp. Yes. I sit outside like, oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Like I'm thankful that I'm able to sleep.
Yes.
Because when I went through that stuff with my father, like he used to wake me up out my sleep in the middle of the night and make me get up and do stuff like that.
For a while, probably.
Even after he left, I struggled to sleep. And then when I did go to sleep, I would have nightmares. I would think that he's in my room again, and I would just wake up. And I struggled for, I want to say like 6 years straight. I could not sleep through the night. Like, there was nothing I could do. No medicine, like I just could not sleep. I'm thankful now that I can go to sleep.
You be knocked out.
I will take a nap so fast. Like, I can sleep and I sleep peacefully. I sleep without worry. I sleep without thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful that I haven't had a nightmare about that. And I want to say like 4 years. And I know it's all part of my healing and God just coming to save me. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for me being able to be forgiving. And like, because I know where that could have led me. I know so many girls go through that. They end up prostitution. They end up being on drugs. They end up, in abusive relationships, or they end up being abusers themselves. And I'm so thankful that he carried me, even when I didn't know, even when I couldn't uplift myself, when I didn't know what was going on around me, when I was so deep in my darkness I couldn't see his light. He carried me, and I'm thankful for that. So you have to be grateful for those small things, because now I can sleep. Right now, I don't have to worry about my dad being on drugs. I don't have to worry about my mom being broken and depressed. I don't have to worry about my siblings hating me. Like, my life is different now. And I won't say battles. I'm still battling with some of the things that trauma came with. And like my pastor preached on Sunday, it's layers. Trauma is layers. Not even Sunday, Tuesday night teaching. Trauma comes in layers, right? It peels back in layers. And he said it like this, like, people will judge you for going to the pulpit every Sunday, not knowing you peeling these layers off. And trauma is not based off what other people want. It's based off your timing, your healing, and what God is doing with you. And he basically said, like, no longer will we carry that on our backs. No longer will we let that hold us back from who we are and what we have going on. And that's why I'm doing this today, because I've been through the darkness. I've been smoking every day and drinking every day. I've been to the point where I hated my life. I hated myself. I didn't want to be here. I've been to the point where I felt like I failed at everything, at school, at basketball, and now I'm here, and I understand that my purpose is so different. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm thankful, man. So, I'm sorry.
God, man.
Listen, God is so
I talk about
good.
God all day.
Like, God is so good. When I say this is why nobody can tell me this man not real, because the stuff he brought me through, it ain't no human on earth that could tell me it was the. I can't even say it was myself, because myself was ready to get up out of here. And
it was up to me.
I didn't even care where I was going. I didn't care. I'm like, as long as I'm not here, I don't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm so thankful that God left the 99 to come and get little old me, because he cared for me and he saw something in me that I did not see in myself. I'm so thankful. And even to my dad, I'm thankful that you were so broken that you broke me in order for me to be put back together by God. For my family,
That's
I'm
deep.
thankful.
That's deep.
I'm thankful for every trial and tribulation, because it made me who I am today. And now I would never put my kids through anything like that. I will never hurt anybody. I will never put that emotional brokenness on anybody. I will never cause trauma for my children, for my relationship, any of that, my friends, my siblings. I will never do that to them. And I'm thankful that he was so broken that it caused me to be broken in order to be put together by God. So I'm thankful. But yeah, that's
you need some flowers for that one. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Real. That's real. That's real life, man.
That's real growth.
That's true. So the last question, I'm gonna get this up to you to answer first. What advice would you give someone facing the same pressure of life or sports, any pressure that they face? What would you give them?
I mean, I think y'all know the answer to that.
God,
Jesus Christ, Jesus himself, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
You better look for him.
Yeah.
Because without him, you will never, it don't matter. You can get $1 million in your bank account right now, and you still are going to have a void in your heart that is, you're not going to be able to fill without him.
Yeah. People
always think like, oh, if I get this next pair of shoes, if I get this apartment, if I get this house, if I get this car, if I get this husband, if I get this wife, nothing earthly that you'll ever get will satisfy you. It doesn't matter. It'll
satisfy your flesh
in the moment, in the moment.
Yeah, and then
Even as a basketball
go back
player,
to being broken.
go back to being broken. As a basketball player, no accolade,
Mm-hmm.
no points,
Mm-hmm.
no rebounds, no steals, no
No
channel, no
championships.
championship, no medal, no ring, no league, no NBA, no WNBA, no commercial, no
Yeah.
shoe deal, nothing will fully ever satisfy you unless you have him.
Yeah.
Now, if you have him and you start getting that stuff, that's a bonus.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely a bonus, but without him, it's nothing because you can die before you even achieve one of your goals.
Yeah.
I had someone who passed I think right after high school, my ex passed away. We talked about all of our dreams, all of our goals. He didn't get to accomplish not one single goal that he set out for himself.
And that's how I feel. Like my brother, like my brother didn't get to experience being married. He'll never get to experience his daughter. He has a daughter.
Kids.
He'll never get to experience seeing her go to prom, homecoming, getting married, walking her down the aisle. He'll never
all
meet
this
his
earthly
grandkids.
stuff that
He'll never meet any of my children.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never get to reach any of his music dreams that he had, or like take care of my mom the way he wanted to. He'll never get to experience that. But also, you find peace and understanding that there's something greater than all of those things, and that's eternal life, and that's spending eternity with God and not having this pain, this earthly pain, not needing these earthly accolades, not needing the shoes or the clothes or the cars or the house or any of that stuff, but understanding like with God, I have all that I need.
And more.
And some.
And more.
Like in the Bible it tells us like, I'm gonna give you more than you can imagine. And like to think the stuff we imagine and dream of that we want. He's going to give us better than that just because we follow him, because we give our life to him, because we live in a life pleasing him. He's going to take care of everything. Mm-hmm. Like, that gives me peace.
And how would you not want to follow someone like that?
Literally.
That forgives
that
you.
That loves you unconditionally.
Loves you no matter what you've done. No matter
who
what
you
are,
said,
who you are,
what you look like.
What you think about, what he does not care if you're the most sinning person in the world. He still loves you.
And he has a purpose.
And he has a purpose for you. Yeah. How would you not want to follow him? So my advice is just find God. You don't have to go buy a Bible today. Yeah. Just say, God, I want you. I need you. I want you to show yourself to me. I want to live. I want to be with you. When I die, I want to be with you. Yeah. Just start with that. And he'll start chipping away the pieces. Chipping away. Like when people, and be patient. Like we said last episode, don't think you got to be perfect. He will put you where you need to be. He will shed all those layers off of you one by one, piece by piece. So take your time, give your life to God. Let him do that. So my advice will be exactly what you said. Give everything to God. The pressure you feel when you breaking that press, you can't break that press unless you got God. Mm-hmm. Okay? And when you need that time out to sit down and recollect yourself before you get back in, take that time out. Because it's time in the game where I know you get a time out. Sit still with God. Sit still with God. Take your time out. Take a breath. Break that press. Mm-hmm. We are here to tell you can break that press, and you can do it only with God. Only. All right? Only. You can do it by yourself. You can try. But I guarantee you, you might get crushed. And they say pressure make diamonds, right? God made us diamonds. That pressure, that was making us cold. Mm-hmm. God made us into diamonds. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, the thing I would give y'all, the advice I would give y'all, we telling y'all, God is the way, God is the truth, God is the light. Follow him. He's the only way. He is the only way. And I pray that anybody under the sound of my voice that has listened to this, that has heard my story and Kay's story, I pray that y'all are never afraid to tell y'all story, that y'all get through this, through y'all darkness, and y'all find light in y'all darkness, and y'all know that God will be there. He is carrying you through. Even when you don't see him and when you don't feel him, he is there, and he is watching, and he is waiting for you to just give it all to him. Give your burdens to him. Give your pressure to him. And he will make you into a diamond. I love God. I love him. He's amazing. So much. He's amazing. Oh, and for the athletes, like I said, I'm going to try to help y'all with y'all playlist. So, an artist that y'all can listen to, warming up, whatever, the next artist I'm going to give y'all is Alex Jean. So, go listen to some of his music. He is A1. I love him. I love all of his music. It'll get you turned up. It'll also get you in tune with God. So, go check out some songs by Alex Jean. Mm-hmm. Jean, like jeans. Alex Jean. Great artist. So, that being said, we're going to pray it out.
we will see y'all next time. You got it again.
Oh, my turn. Let's take a breath. Lord, sometimes you gotta just sit with God, y'all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta just. Thank you so much for allowing us to get through this day. Thank you for allowing Tay to have the strength to get through this day as well as through this episode. Thank you for allowing our words and our light to shine and for you to shine through us so that we may say what is needed to be said. Please allow whoever needs to hear this, whoever needs to watch this, to attract their way towards our podcast. Please allow us to assist you in helping and guiding and getting as many disciples to you as possible, Lord. Lord, thank you so much for bringing Tay into my life and my friends into my life so that we may do what is needed and do your work in the kingdom, Lord. I pray that you continue to give all the viewers hope. Please improve their discernment. Please give them peace. Please give them strength, and please continue to show themselves to you as we have one goal and one goal only, and that is to get into the kingdom of heaven. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. We love y'all. We holla at y'all. Peace.